The sky of Delta 9 burned red as human ships entered the alien world's orbit. It was not meant to be a war. It was meant to be a rescue. At least that's what Commander Leon told his crew when the first explosion hit their scanners. No one really understood how it started. Humans had come to help rebuild a damaged colony after a solar storm. The alien race, called the Aolari, had sent messages of peace months ago. They were tall, graceful beings with pale blue skin and silver eyes that glowed faintly in the dark. But now their cities were filled with fire. Leon stood at the bridge window of his ship, the Odyssey, watching the alien surface twist with light and smoke. "It doesn't make sense," he muttered. They called us friends. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara scanned the signals. "Sir, ground forces report confusion. The Aolari soldiers aren't attacking directly. It's like they're defending something sacred." "Sacred?" Leon frowned. "We're here to give medical aid." What could they possibly? Before he could finish, a flash of light filled the sky. A shockwave hit the Odyssey. Sirens screamed. Leon grabbed the railing as the ship shook. "Status," he shouted. "Energy burst from the surface." Mara yelled. "Some kind of ancient weapon system, not ours." The communication screens filled with static. Then a voice came through, clear and sharp, speaking in perfect English but filled with fury. "Leave this world. Your touch defiles our honor." The voice belonged to a woman, cold, commanding, alien. The bridge fell silent. Everyone looked at each other. Did she just say defiles our honor? One crewman whispered. Leon clenched his jaw. "Patch me through," he ordered. But before he could speak, the connection died. Hours later, human dropships entered the atmosphere under heavy fire. Leon was among the ground team. The city they landed in was a ruin of glass and steel. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. It was quiet, too quiet. "Commander," said Corporal Hayes, "we're getting readings of life forms nearby." 1, 2. Wait, that can't be right. It's like they're cloaked. A shadow moved between the wreckage, then another. Out of the dust stepped a figure, a woman in shining silver armor engraved with patterns that shimmered faintly like stars. Her hair was long and pale, braided with thin metallic threads. Her skin had that same soft blue tone Leon had seen in the reports. Her eyes glowed faintly, but her face showed calm, not anger. Leon raised his hand. "We don't want to fight," he said slowly. "We came here to help." The alien warrior tilted her head. Her voice was calm, almost curious. "Help? You bring machines that tear our skies. You enter temples that are not yours. And you say you help?" Leon lowered his weapon. "We didn't know. No one told us this city was sacred." The woman's gaze flicked toward a broken structure behind her. "It is not the city. It is what lies beneath it. Our ancestors rest here. Their armor carries their memory. You walk among them without permission." Leon stepped closer. "Then let me make it right. Let me help you restore it." She studied him for a moment, then turned away. Humans speak easily of repair, but some things cannot be fixed by words. Before Leon could answer, an explosion thundered nearby. Dust and flame rose into the air. Instinctively, he ran forward and pulled the alien woman to cover. For a brief second, his hand brushed the metal of her armor. The world seemed to stop. The woman froze. Her eyes widened, glowing brighter, like two stars lit from within. The faint hum around her armor changed tone, a low vibrating sound that echoed through the air. Leon pulled back quickly. "Are you hurt?" She didn't answer. She stared at him, motionless, unblinking, as if the touch itself had done something impossible. Behind them, human soldiers shouted orders, and the sky burned again. But the alien warrior didn't move. Her lips parted slightly, and her voice came out quiet, trembling, filled with something like fear. "You touched my armor," she whispered. "Do you know what that means?" Leon frowned. "No. Should I?" The silence stretched. Then, without another word, she turned and disappeared into the smoke. The rest of the unit regrouped, unaware of what had just happened. Leon stood still, his hand still tingling where it had touched her armor. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had done something terrible, or something that would change everything. As the night settled over the ruins of Delta 9, the human commander looked toward the glowing horizon and wondered who that alien woman really was, and why a simple touch had made her freeze in fear and wonder. He didn't know yet that this small moment, this accident, would decide the future of both their species. He replayed the moment again and again. The way her eyes had glowed brighter, the way the air around her armor had seemed to hum like a living thing, none of it made sense. In the command tent, the human soldiers were busy repairing equipment and scanning the area. The war had quieted, but it didn't feel like peace. It felt like the pause before something worse. Lieutenant Mara entered the tent with a data pad in her hand. "Commander, you need to see this." She placed the pad on the table. A hologram flickered to life, showing an image of alien armor pieces, similar to the one the woman had worn. "These were found in the ruins. Our scanners can't analyze the material. It reacts to biosignals, living energy." Leon frowned. "Living energy? Like a nervous system?" "Exactly. It's bonded to the wearer's life force. If someone touches it without permission..." Mara paused. "It can form a link. A sacred one. Our translation calls it the bond of honor." Leon looked at her sharply. "Bond, you mean like a connection?" Mara nodded slowly. "In Ilari culture, only two warriors who share deep trust, or a vow, are allowed to touch each other's armor. It's part of their soul." Leon's mind went blank for a moment. He had touched her armor. He rubbed his temple. "So when I helped her, she thought you made a vow," Mara finished softly. "A sacred promise. In their language it means protection, loyalty, and something more." Leon stared at the floor. The word more hung in his mind, heavy and confusing. Before he could ask further, a soldier ran into the tent. "Commander, we've got movement near the South Ridge. Hilari scouts." Leon grabbed his helmet and rifle. "Get a team ready. Non-lethal defense only. We don't fire unless fired upon." The night outside was cold, the kind that made every sound sharper. The humans moved quietly through the ruins, flashlights cutting through the smoke and dust. Then Leon saw her again, the same alien warrior from before. She stood near a broken monument, moonlight shining off her silver armor. She didn't run this time. She waited. Leon signaled his team to hold back. He stepped forward alone. "We meet again," he said carefully. The alien woman's eyes glowed faintly. "You should not have come here." "Maybe not," Leon replied. "But I need to understand what happened. Why did you freeze when I touched your armor?" She tilted her head slightly. "You already know. Your machines told you." Leon hesitated. "The bond of honor," he said. "Is that what it's called?" The alien nodded once. "Yes, it is the oldest law of my people. A warrior's armor carries their spirit. To touch it is to share that spirit." Her voice softened. "No stranger has ever done such a thing. Not even another Ilari without permission." Leon took a slow breath. "I didn't mean to offend. I was trying to save you from the blast." She looked down for a moment, then back at him. "Intent does not matter. The bond is made." A faint shimmer appeared on her armor, like glowing threads wrapping around her chest and shoulders. Leon could feel a strange warmth through the air, as if something unseen was linking them. "What happens now?" he asked quietly. The alien woman stepped closer. "The bond is lifelong. It ties our fates. If one dies, the other feels it. If one betrays, the other's soul breaks." Leon's pulse quickened. "That's intense." "For us," she said, "it is sacred." For a long moment they stood facing each other in silence. Then she turned slightly and gestured toward the dark ruins. "There is something you must see, human. Something your people have already disturbed." Leon followed as she led him through shattered halls covered in glowing blue symbols. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Finally, they entered a vast underground chamber. 1,000 silver suits of armor stood in silent rows like soldiers frozen in time. Each one shimmered faintly with light. Leon's breath caught. "What is this place?" The alien warrior looked at the glowing walls. "This is where our ancestors sleep. Each armor holds a memory, a soul. When your machines came, they touched them. They woke them." Leon felt a chill run down his spine. "You mean they're alive?" She nodded slowly. "Not in the way you know life. But they remember, and they do not forget dishonor." Before Leon could respond, the chamber lights flickered. A low hum filled the air. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The alien woman's hand went to her weapon. "They are awakening," she whispered. "The ancients think we are enemies." Leon raised his communicator. "Mara, get my team out of here, now." Static answered. The signal was dead. The alien turned to him, eyes glowing fiercely. "You cannot leave now, human. You are bound to me. Their rage will find you too." The floor cracked, releasing bright streams of light. The ancient armors began to move. Leon stepped back in awe and fear as hundreds of glowing eyes opened around them. The alien woman drew her blade and looked at him. "You wanted to understand the bond, Commander? Then fight beside me and learn what it truly means." The ground shook under Leon's boots. The light from the ancient chamber grew brighter, flooding the walls with strange glowing patterns. The air smelled of metal and ozone, thick with energy that felt alive. The alien warrior stood tall, her silver armor shining with the same pulse that now came from the sleeping armors around them. Leon could hear whispers, not in words but like memories humming through the air. Then one of the suits moved. Slowly it raised its head. The faceplate glowed with pale blue light. Another followed, then 10, then hundreds. Leon took a step back, gripping his rifle tightly. "What's happening?" "They are awakening," the alien woman said quietly. "The spirits of those who fell long ago. They believe this world is under attack again. Can't you tell them we're not enemies?" She shook her head. "They do not listen to the living. They obey only memory and honor, and now they sense dishonor." The sound of metal echoed as the ancient suits began to move in perfect rhythm. Their footsteps shook the ground like thunder. Leon lifted his rifle, but the alien woman raised her hand sharply. "Do not shoot. You cannot kill what is already dead. So what do we do?" he asked. "We survive." She drew her blade, a glowing silver weapon that hummed with energy. The nearest ancient armor turned toward them, light burning inside its chest like fire. It raised its arm, and a bolt of blue energy shot through the air. Leon dove aside as the blast struck the wall, sending shards of stone flying. The alien warrior moved like lightning, her sword slicing through the air. The blade met the glowing armor, and for a second time seemed to stop. The ancient fell, light flickering out. Leon fired at another one, his bullets sparking uselessly against the glowing plates. "They're too strong," he shouted. "Then aim for the core," she said. "The light within them. That is where the spirit sleeps." Leon focused, breathing hard. He aimed at the chest of one approaching him, where the blue glow was brightest. One shot, then another. The second bullet hit the core. The armor collapsed into dust. "Nice shot, human," the alien said, moving beside him with graceful precision. They fought side by side, metal against light, human instinct against alien discipline. For a moment they were no longer enemies, just two warriors fighting for survival. But the ancients were endless. Every time they destroyed one, more rose from the shadows. Leon's communicator crackled. "Commander, are you there? We're detecting massive energy spikes below your position." "Mara, listen carefully," Leon shouted over the noise. "We found something ancient. It's attacking. Tell the fleet to stand down, no orbital strikes." "Sir, they're preparing one already." "Cancel it. You'll destroy everything down here." Static again. The signal cut, Leon swore under his breath. He turned back toward the alien warrior. "If your ancestors keep this up, they'll bring the whole city down." She parried another blow, sparks flying. "Then we must reach the heart chamber. It is the only way to calm them." "Where is it?" She pointed toward a tall structure deeper inside the ruins, glowing with pure white light. "There. But the path is guarded." "Of course it is," Leon muttered, reloading his rifle. They ran together through the maze of pillars and fallen statues, dodging blasts of energy and collapsing walls. The air was filled with light and sound, the past screaming at the present. As they reached the corridor leading to the heart chamber, one of the ancient armors blocked their way. It was larger than the rest, its design older, covered in runes that pulsed with golden light. The alien warrior stopped, her voice lowered. "That is the first guardian. He protects the heart. Even I have no right to pass him." Leon looked at her. "Then let me try. You?" she asked, almost in disbelief. He nodded. "You said I'm bonded to you. Maybe the bond means I'm not just a stranger anymore." She hesitated, then stepped aside. "Be careful, human." Leon walked forward slowly, lowering his weapon. The guardian turned its head, its glowing eyes locking on him. The energy around it flared, but it did not attack. Leon raised his hand and touched the ancient's armor, just like he had touched hers. For a second, everything went silent. The humming stopped. The lights dimmed. The guardian froze. Then, to Leon's surprise, it knelt. The alien warrior's eyes widened. "It accepted you," she whispered. The bond recognized the link. Leon turned back to her. "Then maybe it means something good after all." The Guardian's voice filled the chamber, deep and echoing like thunder. Bearer of the living bond, the ancestors await your command. Leon looked at the alien woman, unsure. She stepped closer, her expression softer now. Tell them to rest. Tell them we mean no harm. Leon nodded. He took a deep breath and spoke clearly, his voice echoing across the hall. Rest now. The war is over. We come in peace. The blue light in the armors flickered, then slowly faded. One by one, the ancient suits went still, their glow dimming to silence. The room grew quiet again. Only the faint hum of the heart chamber remained. The alien woman lowered her sword. Her voice was almost a whisper. You stopped them. No human has ever done such a thing. Leon exhaled slowly. Guess I'm learning your customs. She looked at him with a faint smile, the first sign of warmth he had seen in her. Perhaps you are not as reckless as I thought. But before he could reply, the ground rumbled again. The white light from the heart chamber pulsed stronger, faster, like a heartbeat out of control. Leon's eyes widened. What now? The alien's smile vanished. Something worse has awakened. The light in the heart chamber grew brighter with every passing second. The floor trembled, dust falling from the ceiling like snow. Leon covered his eyes from the glow. It was so strong it felt alive, pulsing like a heartbeat. The alien warrior stepped forward, her voice steady but tense. The heart is awake. Something inside it has sensed you. Leon frowned. Sensed me? Why me? Because you carry the bond, she said quietly. You touched sacred armor. You became part of our link. The heart recognizes that connection. They moved closer. The huge crystal core at the center of the room was wrapped in silver roots and glowing runes. Each pulse of light seemed to whisper voices, faint, ancient, and full of emotion. Leon felt dizzy. His head was filled with echoes that weren't his own. Faces flashed in his mind. Alari faces, battles long ago, pain and promises of honor. He stumbled, and the alien woman grabbed his arm. Stay with me, human, she said firmly. The heart shares memories. Too many at once can break your mind. Leon took a deep breath and steadied himself. What is this place really? This, she said, looking at the shining core, is the soul of my people. Every warrior who ever lived is remembered here. Their thoughts, their vows, their spirits. The heart connects all of us. Leon looked around the vast chamber in awe. It's like your history, alive, she nodded. And now it calls to you. The crystal light pulsed again, stronger. The energy reached toward Leon like invisible threads wrapping around him. The alien warrior stepped between him and the heart, raising her sword. Stop, she shouted. He is not of our kind. But the light didn't listen. It wrapped around them both, pulling them into the air. Leon felt warmth spread through his body, not painful but deep, like touching a star. Then everything went white. When Leon opened his eyes, he was no longer in the chamber. He stood on a wide battlefield under a burning orange sky. Thousands of Alari soldiers surrounded him, their armor shining like mirrors. Beside him stood the alien woman, though she looked different. Her armor was older, darker, and her face carried symbols that glowed faintly. What is this? He asked. She turned slowly. A memory, she whispered. The first war, the one that almost destroyed us. He looked around. Who are they fighting? The horizon exploded with light. Giant ships burned across the sky, human ships. Leon's heart froze. That's impossible. Humanity wasn't even here back then. But the memory showed otherwise. He saw human-like soldiers, not exactly human but similar, fighting beside machines that bore Earth's old flags. The alien woman turned toward him, her eyes filled with sorrow. Now you see the truth. Your kind has been here before. What do you mean? She looked down at the burning world. The humans of your time are not the first. Long ago, your ancestors came here as conquerors. They tried to take what they did not understand, the heart, our memory, our power. Leon felt his chest tighten. You're saying humans started the first war? Yes, they broke our temples and tried to bind our souls to their machines. The heart still remembers their touch. That is why it fears you. That is why the ancients rose. Leon stood in silence, his mind spinning. Then why didn't anyone tell us? Why does history say we were the first to explore beyond Earth? Because time forgets, she said softly. But the heart does not. The scene shifted again. The battlefield vanished, replaced by a quiet temple under starlight. The alien woman stood before a glowing pool, her hands trembling. Leon realized it wasn't her. It was someone from long ago. An ancestor wearing the same armor. "She looks like you," he said. The woman nodded. "She was my foremother, the first to forge the bond of honor. It was meant to unite warriors, not divide them. But after the war with humans, it became a vow of protection and warning." Leon watched as the ancient Aelari touched a fallen soldier's armor, whispering words of sorrow. The same glow spread across her hands, the same glow Leon had seen when he touched the alien warrior's armor. Then the memory faded. Leon gasped as he fell back into reality. The heart chamber returned around them. The alien woman stood beside him, breathing hard. "You saw it," she said. "Now you understand," Leon nodded slowly. "I saw what we did, my people. I'm sorry." She turned to him, her expression unreadable. "You are not them, but their blood flows in you, and the heart does not forgive easily." The ground trembled again, but this time the light wasn't angry and it was confused. Pulsing in uneven waves, Leon stepped closer to the heart. "If it remembers humans as enemies, then it needs a new memory. Let me give it one." She stared at him. "What are you doing?" "Changing the story," Leon said. He placed his hand on the crystal. A shock of energy ran through him. He felt everything, every thought, every emotion, every ancient voice, but he focused on one thing: peace. He pictured the Aelari and humans standing together, rebuilding instead of destroying. The crystal flickered. The chaotic light softened. The tremors stopped. The alien woman watched in awe. "You calmed it." Leon stepped back, exhausted but alive. Maybe it just needed someone to listen. For the first time she smiled, a real gentle smile. Perhaps the bond chose well. But before Leon could answer, the crystal dimmed suddenly and a deep voice echoed from the walls. "The heart remembers, but others do not. The stars will burn again." The alien warrior's smile faded. "That voice," she whispered. "That's not the heart." Leon frowned. "Then who is it?" The ground shook violently. Cracks spread across the floor and a dark red glow seeped through. The alien's eyes widened in fear. Something was sealed here long ago, something that should never wake. The floor split open with a deep roar. Red light spilled from the cracks, painting the chamber walls with color that looked like blood. Leon stumbled backward as hot air rushed up from below. The alien warrior grabbed his arm, pulling him away from the widening fissure. "We must leave," she shouted. "What is that?" Leon yelled over the sound of breaking stone. Her face was pale. "Not the heart. Something buried under it. Something older than both our kinds." The ground collapsed again. A shockwave threw them across the floor. The great crystal core above them dimmed, its calm blue turning to burning crimson. Leon coughed and looked up. Shapes moved in the red glow, tall, shifting forms made of shadow and light. They looked like armor without a body, floating and twisting, whispering words he could barely understand. "Is that another memory?" he asked. The alien woman shook her head slowly. "No, that is what our ancestors feared most. The fallen ones. Spirits that lost their honor and turned into rage." Leon gritted his teeth. Perfect timing. They ran toward the exit tunnel as the chamber shook behind them. Walls cracked, pillars fell, and fire burst from the ground. Leon could hear voices, angry, echoing in 1,000 tones, calling both of their names. The alien warrior turned, lifting her glowing sword. "They sense the bond. They want to break it. Then we don't let them," Leon said, raising his rifle. The shadows surged forward. Leon fired, bullets passing through them like smoke. Yet each shot slowed the form slightly. The alien swung her blade, each strike sending out waves of blue light. The light cut the shadows apart for a moment, but they reformed quickly, whispering louder. "You cannot fight memories," she gasped. "They feed on fear." Leon took a deep breath. "Then we give them courage instead." He grabbed her hand. The instant their palms met, the same glowing threads from before appeared. The mark of the bond. The light pulsed between them, spreading outward like a wave. The shadows recoiled, hissing as the glow filled the corridor. The alien looked at him, surprised. You are using the bond?" "I don't know how," Leon said, his voice shaking. "But it feels like it wants to protect you." The wave of light pushed the shadows back. The path ahead opened again. "Go!" Leon shouted. "Run!" They sprinted down the narrow passageway, the ancient voices fading behind them. When they finally reached the surface, the air outside was cold and thin. The sky above Delta 9 was filled with storm clouds, glowing faintly red from the fires below. Leon dropped to his knees, gasping. "Tell me we're safe." The alien warrior looked back toward the temple entrance, which still glowed faintly. "For now," she said softly. "But the seal is broken. The fallen will rise again if the heart loses control." Leon rubbed his head. "So we calm it again?" She shook her head. "Not this time. The heart will not listen anymore. It thinks all life is a threat now, human and Alari alike. Then we stop it together." The alien turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting the storm. "Together? You still trust me after what you've seen?" Leon managed a tired smile. "I don't just trust you. I think we need each other." For a long moment she said nothing. Then she nodded. "Very well, human. My name is Sarai. If we are to fight as one, you should know it." Leon nodded back. "Commander Leon Hayes," Sarai's voice softened. "Leon, your touch awakened something ancient. The bond was meant to bring peace, not chaos. But now it may be the only thing that can stop this darkness." A distant explosion cut her words short. Both looked toward the horizon. Human gunships were firing at the ruins, bright streaks of light tearing through the air. Leon's face hardened. "They think they're saving us." Sarai's eyes widened. "They will only make it worse." "The heart will defend itself." He grabbed his communicator. "Mara, this is Hayes. Stop the airstrike. Repeat, stop the strike." Static answered, then Mara's voice broke through. "Commander, the heart is releasing energy. It's spreading across the surface." "We can't stop the blast." Leon looked at Sarai. "How big?" "Big enough to end this world," she said quietly. A wave of red lightning shot into the clouds, spreading like veins of fire. The wind howled, carrying a low rhythmic sound, like a heartbeat echoing across the planet. Sarai took a step forward, gripping her sword. "There is one way to stop it. We must reach the core nexus inside the heart and reseal it from within." "That's suicide," Leon said. She turned to him. "You are bound to me. If I die, you die. If you live, I live. So yes, it may be suicide, but it is also fate." Leon stared at her for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Then let's not die yet." Sarai's lips curved into a small, fierce smile. "Good. The bond has chosen a stubborn one." They started toward the burning horizon. The city shook beneath them as the heart's power spread through the ground. Lightning tore across the sky, splitting clouds into fire. Leon looked up. "If we make it through this, you're explaining everything about this bond." Sarai glanced at him with a hint of humor. "If we make it through this, human, you may understand without words." They disappeared into the smoke. Two small figures walking against a world that was falling apart. A human and an alien warrior bound by accident, now carrying the last hope of peace between their races. The wind howled as Leon and Sarai crossed the ruins of Delta 9. The sky burned crimson. The once beautiful alien city was now half buried in fire and dust. Every few seconds, the ground trembled under their feet. The planet's heartbeat growing stronger, faster, angrier. Leon tightened the straps of his armor. "How far to the Nexus?" Sarai pointed toward a tall structure in the distance, glowing faintly through the smoke. There, beneath the central spire, the heart's power flows through it. Leon looked at her as they walked. "If this Nexus is the source, how do we shut it down?" She kept her eyes forward. "The heart responds to will and connection. The bond we share might give us access. But if the darkness inside has taken control, then it won't let us near," Leon finished grimly. Sarai nodded. "Exactly." They moved in silence for a while, stepping over broken metal and shattered stone. The red light of the heart flickered across their faces like distant fire. After a long pause, Leon spoke quietly. "When I first touched your armor, I didn't know what it meant. But now, I think it was fate." Sarai looked at him. "Fate?" "Yeah," Leon said, a faint smile on his lips. "The universe wanted us to meet. You were ready to kill me that day, remember?" Her expression softened. "Yes, and now I protect you." Perhaps the universe has a strange sense of humor. They both laughed lightly, a small, fragile moment of calm in a storm of chaos. Then the ground shook again. The laughter died. From the horizon, black clouds rose like a living creature. The fallen ones of the shadows from below were spreading across the ruins. Their whispers filled the air once more, echoing through the wind. Sarai's hand went to her sword. "They're coming." Leon raised his rifle. Then we run faster. They sprinted through the debris as the shadows closed in. Red lightning flashed behind them, striking the ground like claws. One bolt hit nearby, throwing Leon off his feet. He landed hard, sliding across the cracked pavement. "Leon," Sarai shouted. Before he could answer, a shadow rose from the ground, forming into a tall figure, part armor, part smoke, with burning white eyes. It swung a blade of pure energy. Leon rolled aside just in time. Sarai leapt between them, her sword slicing through the air in a burst of light. The shadow screamed and dissolved into mist. She grabbed Leon's arm, helping him up. "Stay close! The bond weakens if we separate." "Got it," he said, breathless. They reached the base of the glowing spire, the entrance to the core nexus. A massive circular door stood in their way, covered in alien runes. Sarai placed her hand on it. The markings lit up instantly. "The bond will open it," she said softly. Leon placed his hand beside hers. Blue light spread across the metal, tracing the runes until the door groaned and slid open. Inside, the core nexus glowed with white and red light. Giant energy veins ran up the walls, connecting to a huge sphere floating at the center. The sphere pulsed like a living heart. Each beat sent waves of light through the entire chamber. Leon stared at it in awe. "That's the source?" "Yes," Sarai said. "The pure essence of the heart." He took a step closer. "So how do we fix it?" Sarai's eyes narrowed. "We don't fix it. We balance it," Leon frowned. "What does that mean?" "The heart was never evil," she explained. "It remembers pain and honor equally. To calm it, we must show it both sides, human courage and Aelari truth together." Leon nodded slowly. "You mean, through the bond?" She looked at him, her expression unreadable. "It will require full connection. Mind to mind, soul to soul." Leon hesitated. "What happens if we fail?" Sarai's voice was soft. "Then we both die." He met her eyes and smiled faintly. "Then let's make it count." They stood side by side, placing their hands on the glowing sphere. Light burst out instantly, surrounding them in brilliant white energy. Leon felt his heartbeat sync with hers. His thoughts blurred, memories, emotions, pain, everything mixing together. He saw flashes of her life, her childhood on a blue world, her first battle, her vow to protect her people. She saw his, the human war, Earth's destruction, the loneliness of command. Their memories merged until there was no border between them. The heart's voice echoed around them. Two souls. "One bond, show me truth," Leon whispered. "You want truth? Then see us now. We're not enemies," Sarai added. "We are what you created, hope and regret together. We carry both, but we choose peace." The light inside the sphere flared bright blue, washing over everything. The red glow began to fade. For a moment it seemed to work, until a deep voice thundered from within the heart. "Peace is weakness. The universe remembers war." The light turned red again. The sphere cracked. Leon shouted, "It's resisting us!" Sarai gritted her teeth. "Then we push harder!" They held their ground, their hands burning with light. The chamber shook violently. Energy ripped through the floor, tearing the structure apart, but the bond between them glowed brighter, spreading from their hands to their entire bodies. Two figures standing in a storm of power, refusing to let go. The cracks on the sphere began to heal. The red turned blue once more. Sarai's voice trembled. "Leon, it's listening." He closed his eyes. "Then let it hear one thing. We're stronger together." The light exploded outward in a massive wave that shook the planet to its core. When the light faded, everything was silent. The sphere floated calmly again, glowing soft blue. Sarai opened her eyes slowly. It worked. Leon exhaled, his whole body trembling. For now. But as they turned to leave, a faint shadow moved behind the sphere. Tall, quiet, waiting. Sarai froze. "No," she whispered. "It survived." Leon turned back, his eyes widening. "What did?" "The one who corrupted the heart," she said. "The first human who touched it, long ago." The silence in the core nexus felt wrong, too heavy, too still. The blue light of the heart dimmed as shadows gathered near the floating sphere. A shape began to form from the mist, faint at first, then solidifying into a tall figure. Leon stepped back, raising his rifle. "Who's there?" The figure slowly turned. It wore broken armor, human armor, ancient and rusted, yet still bearing the mark of Earth's old flag. The helmet cracked open, revealing a pale face that flickered between flesh and light. Sarai's voice trembled. Impossible. That's human. The ghostly figure smiled faintly. Once, yes. A long time ago. Leon frowned. Who are you? The spirit looked at him with glowing eyes that burned like blue fire. I am Commander Elias Ward. I was the first human to set foot on this world, and the first to betray it. Sarai gripped her sword. You are the one who broke the bond. Ward nodded slowly. I did what I thought was right. My orders were to harness the heart's power, to make humanity eternal, but I failed. The heart consumed us instead. My crew, my world, all gone. Leon stared, disbelief filling his face. So it was true. Humans started the first war. Ward's ghostly voice echoed softly. Not a war. A misunderstanding turned into horror. We touched what we didn't understand, just like you did. Leon lowered his weapon slightly. But you're still here. Inside the heart? Ward's expression darkened. The heart kept me. It needed a mind to control it. So I became its voice, and its prisoner. Sarai took a step forward. Then it was your hatred that corrupted it. Ward's eyes flashed. Hatred? No, I wanted to protect humanity. The heart showed me what was coming, extinction. I believed that if I could control it, we could survive forever. But the more I tried, the more it resisted. In the end, it became what you see now, a weapon without mercy. Leon clenched his fists. You turned peace into fear. You turned memory into rage. Ward's voice grew cold. You speak as if you understand. But you don't. You haven't watched your world burn. You haven't lost everything. Leon's eyes hardened. I have. Earth is gone. We fought wars, destroyed our skies, lost millions. But we learned something you didn't. That survival means nothing if we lose who we are. The spirit fell silent, its form flickering slightly. Sarai lowered her sword slightly. The heart can still be healed. Step aside and let us restore it. Ward looked at her with sorrow. You think it can forgive? It remembers everything. My failure, your people's pain, the endless war. The heart lives on memory, and memory cannot forgive. Leon shook his head. Then maybe it doesn't need to forgive. Maybe it just needs to see something new. Two enemies standing together. Ward's gaze moved between them. The light around him wavered. A human and an Ilari, bound by the same vow. That is something I never thought I'd see again. Sarai took Leon's hand, their bond flaring with bright light. The glow filled the chamber, pushing back the darkness. Ward shielded his eyes. You've linked your souls. Willingly? Leon nodded. Yes, to prove we're not what came before. The spirit's voice softened. Then perhaps there's still hope. For a moment the chamber seemed calm again, but then a deep rumble shook the floor. The sphere at the center of the heart turned crimson once more. Ward's face twisted in pain. No, the heart is rejecting me, and it knows I want to let go. Sarai shouted, Elias! You must release it! End your link to the heart! I can't, he cried, his form flickering violently. It's part of me now. If I leave, the heart will collapse. The planet will die. Leon looked at him desperately. There has to be another way. Ward's eyes dimmed. There is one. The heart needs a new link, a new guardian to take my place. Sarai's expression darkened. You mean a sacrifice? Ward nodded slowly. One of you must stay, bound forever to the heart. The silence that followed felt endless. The wind from the glowing cracks whispered softly around them. Leon looked at Sarai. If someone has to stay, it'll be me. She turned sharply. No, you can't. I started this, Leon said. I woke the heart again. If I stay, humanity can at least make things right. Sarai shook her head fiercely. No, human, the bond will not allow it. If you stay, I die too, Leon froze. Then how do we… Ward's voice cut him off. There may be another way. The bond you share is unique, stronger than mine ever was. If both of you merge your energy, the heart might accept you as one. You could seal it together. Sarai stared at him. Together? Meaning? Ward's voice softened. You would both lose your forms. Your bodies would fade, but your spirits would live inside the heart. Eternal, watching, guiding. Leon exhaled slowly. So we become part of it. Sarai's eyes met his. Forever. For a long moment, they said nothing. Only the heartbeat of the planet echoed around them. Finally, Leon smiled faintly. Could be worse. At least I'll have company. Sarai looked at him with something between sadness and warmth. You are strange, human. Yeah, he said, chuckling softly. I get that a lot. Ward stepped back, his form beginning to fade. If you choose this path, there is no return. Once the merging begins, you will cease to exist as you are. Leon reached for Sarai's hand. Then let's finish what we started. She nodded once, her eyes glowing softly. Together, they turned toward the heart's glowing core. Light swirled around them like a storm, and as they stepped forward, their bond shone brighter than ever before, blue and gold threads twisting into one. Ward watched silently as their figures vanished into the light. Maybe this time, he whispered, the heart will remember peace. The ground shook once more. The heart's color shifted from red to silver, then to calm blue. The storm outside began to fade, but the chamber was empty now. Only two glowing symbols remained on the floor, one human, one Elari, intertwined forever. The storm that had swallowed Delta 9 began to fade. The red glow in the sky turned to soft silver, and the rumbling heartbeats that had shaken the planet slowly quieted. Above the ruins, the air was still for the first time in days. The fires went out one by one, leaving trails of smoke that curled into the clouds like sighs of relief. From orbit, the human fleet watched in silence. Their scanners showed the impossible. The planet's energy field was stabilizing, the deadly readings fading away. Lieutenant Mara leaned toward her console. Commander Hayes' signal is gone, she whispered. No one spoke. The entire bridge of the Odyssey was quiet, bathed in the soft blue light of the monitors. Did he? One officer asked. Mara closed her eyes. He stopped it. Whatever he did, he saved us all. Far below, in the calm silence of the core nexus, everything was bathed in blue light. The great sphere floated peacefully now, no longer cracked or bleeding energy. Its surface shimmered like water, and within it faint shapes moved, slow, graceful, and glowing softly. A voice, neither human nor alien, echoed through the chamber. It was calm, warm, familiar, peace at last. Inside the heart, Leon and Sarai were no longer flesh and bone. They were light and thought, bound together, their memories merging like rivers joining into one sea. Leon's voice drifted through the light. So, this is what forever feels like. Sarai's laugh was soft, almost musical. You expected darkness? Maybe, he said. But this isn't bad. It feels like everything. Sarai's presence glowed beside him. The heart is calm again. It remembers us now, not as enemies, but as one. Leon felt her thoughts touch his, gentle and clear. We did it, Sarai. Yes, she whispered. Two souls, one promise. On the surface, time passed. Days turned into months. The humans rebuilt their base, but they never dug into the sacred ruins again. Instead, they built a memorial above them, a shining tower of glass and light. At the top, two statues stood, one of a human soldier, one of an alien warrior. Both stood side by side, holding hands. Between them, a glowing symbol pulsed faintly, half blue, half silver. They called it the Monument of Unity. Stories spread quickly, first through the fleet, then across human colonies. Some said Commander Leon Hayes and the alien warrior Sarai had sacrificed themselves to save both species. Others whispered that they still lived inside the planet, guarding it like ancient spirits. The Elari people, who had once feared humans, began to visit Delta 9 again. They prayed at the monument and placed silver flowers at its base. To them, Leon and Sarai were no longer strangers. They were the proof that honor could live beyond blood or species. One evening, Lieutenant Mara stood before the monument. The wind carried soft whispers across the plains, faint voices like echoes. She placed her hand on the smooth stone. You did it, Commander, she murmured. You really did it. A faint hum came from the monument. Blue light flickered beneath her hand. She smiled through her tears. Guess you're still watching, huh? For a second, she thought she heard a voice, distant, but familiar. Keep the peace, Mara, don't let them forget. Then the light faded again, and the wind carried silence. Years later, the story of Leon and Sarai became legend. Children learned about the bond that saved two worlds. Poets wrote songs about the warrior and the human who defied destiny. Even as technology advanced, even as both races reached farther into the stars, they never forgot the lesson of Delta 9. That connection could be stronger than war. That a single touch and one act of understanding could change everything. Deep within the heart, Leon and Sarai watched through the blue glow, their voices blending like one soul. Leon whispered, "They remember us." Sarai's light shimmered gently. "As they should. We are the echo that keeps them whole." He laughed softly. "You think they'll ever stop fighting someday?" "Perhaps," she said. "But when they forget, we will remind them." A wave of calm energy flowed through the heart, the planet's eternal rhythm. Outside, the sky glowed bright once more, stars shining where clouds had once burned. Leon's voice lingered in the light. "You know, if someone had told me cleaning your armor would end like this," Sarai interrupted with a warm laugh, "you would not have believed them." "No," Leon said, "but I'm glad it did." Their laughter faded into the hum of the heart, not gone, but eternal, echoing through the world they saved. And on the surface, under the silent stars of Delta 9, the monument glowed faintly once more, a heartbeat of light, whispering across the ages, two souls, one bond forever.